For me, resilience probably is just that thing of bouncing back and being flexible.
Resilience is about people who can work together to meet a challenge.
Resilient Organisations started back in 2004 when a handful of researchers from across New Zealand got together to really see if we could identify what it is that makes organisations resilient, and more importantly, if we could promote organisations to become more resilient.
Resorgs is, its primary goal is to become a thought leader in an international movement on building resilience in organisations.
We really try to bring people from different backgrounds and different perspectives together to try and shed light on what it is that builds organisational resilience. So we have engineers, business people, organisational psychologists, geologists, geographers, change leaders, all coming together to try and bring some ideas to the table of how we can get our organisations to be more resilient.
The initial project involved surveying a large group of businesses, almost 1,000 organisations in the Canterbury region, to find out how they were doing, the impact of the earthquakes, what their resilience was looking like, what their initial trajectory of recovery might look like. And we followed them now for 4 surveys, so we're getting quite a good picture.
When we started looking at what actually enabled organisations to get through times of crises, we were quite surprised. The organisations were often getting through and they hadn't done any planning. They didn't know what risk management was. They hadn't done some of the basics of planning that we thought that they should have done, and yet they were getting through. So that made us start looking under the hood and start saying, well, what is it really that enables organisations to get through times of crisis?
We're a retail jewellery business. We specialise in vintage and antique jewellery as well as modern. Firstly, the September earthquake had a major effect on the business, on the building. We weren't allowed sort of access back in immediately. We had a small window of opportunity to get our stock out. We relocated around the corner into Gloucester Street, temporarily into another antique store, and then moved along to our own store. And the February quakes hit, and the red zone came about in the CBD, and we took everything away. We operated from home for a while, and then we found a home here in Sydenham. Our staff had also been affected by the earthquakes with homes and different things. So the last thing we wanted to do was get rid of them. They'd been loyal to us, we were going to be loyal to them. So it was all about trying to find different ways of doing business and to use the staff productively within what we were doing. We obviously had the phone lines transferred through to mobile, so wherever we were, we could still access and respond to our customers. And then if need be, we were going out to see people at their residence or their place of work, rather than having them come to us. So just trying to think of ways to do things differently. We tried to do a bit more on the internet and have more stock available on there for people to see when we didn't have a retail shop front. Certainly if you need it, ask for help, and whether that be in a business sense or personal sense as well. But yeah, when people do offer help, I would say accept it, because it certainly helped us, and certainly helped us to get back on our feet and to get to where we are now. And the business is not just surviving, but probably thriving compared to where we were previous to the quake.
Orion's the electricity network that supplies Christchurch, Banks Peninsula and the Selwyn District area. We're the people that keep the lights on. We managed to respond well in terms of getting power back on within a day in September 2010 to 90% of our customers, and to 90% in February within 10 days. So we're very proud of that response.
Here's a contingency site here.
The secret for us was investment in a planned resilient network, preparation for a response, and then just the people responding very well. Those 3 key things. Most years we face some sort of challenge around the weather. We've actually been through the test, and so we've proven ourselves, but we've also found those weak points, those areas where we could improve things. Well, I think the key is being interconnected with our community, with our contractors, with the broader electricity industry in New Zealand. There's a lot of resources out there that can help us. Choosing to apply resilient thinking. It's one thing to know the theory, it's another thing to actually bother to go ahead and do it. and make those baby steps. Actually get out there tomorrow and start improving your systems. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but as you invest for growth, say, make sure you're also thinking about resilience. But that has to be done before an event. You actually have to put the investment and time into preparing all your systems and your people for an emergency. I think the key to it is to not think you have all the answers immediately. Actually be very aware that you have to plan to plan. All situations are different, and you have to, as long as you recognise that and accept that, you're on the right track. Start now. If you want to have a resilient organisation, start today.
Resilient Organisations is really bringing a team of people together who are passionate about making organisations more resilient. And we think this is a really important problem to tackle because organisations are like a keystone species within the ecology of our communities and within our cities. They touch every part of our lives. They own, operate and maintain our critical infrastructure. They deliver goods and services. They provide employment for our people. They provide gathering places where people come together and make social connections. If we can create just a small step change in the resilience of our organisations, we can make a massive impact on the resilience of our communities. That's why we're passionate about it.